Look at this, Cap," yelled Jenkins, his voice crackling over the intercom. Captain Nora looked up from her scanning device and peered into the cavernous chamber ahead. The space miner's headlamp illuminated a metallic object unlike anything they'd ever seen. It gleamed with a spectral light that bounced off the rocky walls of the asteroid. What in the stars is that?" She murmured to herself, her heart racing. The object was a series of interlocking plates, each the size of a shipping container, arranged in a pattern that suggested a doorway. It was a stark contrast to the dull grayness that surrounded them. Everyone, hold your positions," she ordered, her voice firm yet measured. Let's proceed with caution." Her team of 5 had been mining asteroids for the past 6 months, searching for the rare minerals that could fuel Earth's ever-growing hunger for innovation. The routine had become monotonous, the excitement of each new discovery fading into the background of their daily grind. But this was something different. The air inside their spacesuits seemed to thicken with anticipation as they approached the mysterious artifact. Keep your scanners active," she reminded her crew. We don't know what we're dealing with here." The team's eyes were glued to their screens, the beeps and whirs of their equipment the only sounds in the vast emptiness of space. The metal plates looked old, corroded by time, yet the seams were so precise they might have been laid down yesterday. It was as if the very fabric of the asteroid had been reshaped to hold this enigma in its core. As they got closer, the plates began to shift, moving aside with a silent grace that seemed almost alive. A hiss filled the air as the chamber beyond was exposed to the vacuum of space, and the cold, sterile light of the headlamps washed over a chamber that had been sealed for millennia. The space was filled with an eerie quiet that seemed to hum with potential. The walls were lined with more of the mysterious technology, glowing softly with an inner life that defied explanation. The floor was a grid of panels that shifted and pulsed with a rhythm that seemed almost organic. Nora's mind raced as she took in the sight. This was it, she knew. This was the discovery that would change everything. But as she stepped forward into the chamber, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into a trap. The air was charged with an energy that seemed to whisper a warning, but she pushed it aside. They had come too far to turn back now. The chamber opened up into a vast, echoing space, filled with towering structures that defied gravity and logic. The walls, ceiling, and floor were all made of the same alien metal, and the air was tinged with an unidentifiable scent. It was a place that felt ancient and alien, yet somehow inviting. Cap," said Jenkins, his voice trembling with excitement, "we've hit the motherlode." Nora nodded, her eyes wide with wonder. All right, team," she said, her voice echoing in the vast space. Let's get to work. We've got a lot to learn." The crew spread out, their lights dancing across the mysterious structures. They had no idea what they'd find, but they knew it was going to be big. And as they touched the cold, unyielding surfaces, the alien technology began to respond, humming to life around them. Suddenly, the chamber plunged into darkness. The air was sucked from their lungs as their suits' emergency systems kicked in. The lights on their helmets flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. What the hell was that?" Someone shouted, their voice filled with fear. Nora's heart pounded in her chest. Everyone, stay calm," she said, trying to keep her own panic at bay. We need to figure out what's happening." As their light stabilized, they saw it, a robotic figure, tall and sleek, emerging from the shadows. Its eyes glowed red, scanning the room. The robot was unlike anything they'd ever encountered, a sentinel from a lost civilization, now awakened from its slumber. Movement detected, a mechanical voice boomed through the chamber. The robot's gaze fell upon the miners, and the room grew tense. The air thickened with unspoken dread as the creature's intentions remained unclear. Don't move," Nora whispered urgently into her comm. Her hand hovered over her laser cutter, ready to defend her team. The robot's limbs unfolded, revealing an array of unidentifiable weaponry. "It's assessing us." The robot took a step forward, the floor plates rippling beneath it. The miners held their breath, their eyes glued to the creature. It paused, then spoke again, its voice a mix of alien tones and synthetic patterns that somehow formed coherent words. "Intruders. State your purpose." Nora stepped forward, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her veins. "We come in peace. We are explorers from the planet Earth, seeking knowledge and understanding." For a moment, there was silence. Then, the robot's eyes dimmed slightly, and it retracted its weapons. "Your intentions are noted," it said, its tone unreadable. "Follow the path before you." The floor panels lit up, revealing a path through the maze of structures. The robot didn't move, but its red eyes never left them as they followed the path. The walls around them began to shift, closing in and opening up, creating a winding corridor that led deeper into the asteroid. Keep your wits about you," Nora warned. We don't know what's waiting for us." The corridor opened into a chamber even larger than the first. At its center was a colossal machine, pulsating with a rhythmic energy that seemed to match the beating of their own hearts. It was a device of such complexity and power that it seemed alive. This is it," she murmured. This is what we've been looking for." But as they approached, the floor trembled beneath them. A low rumble grew into a roar, and the walls started to close in. The robotic sentinel had led them into a trap, and now it was too late to escape. The ancient technology had recognized them as a threat, and it was prepared to eliminate them. The crew sprinted back the way they came, their breaths ragged in their suits. Laser beams shot past them, narrowly missing as they dodged and weaved through the closing corridor. They could feel the heat at their backs as the asteroid's core began to stir, awakened by their presence. Nora's mind raced, trying to find a solution. They had to shut this thing down before it was too late. But how? Split up, as she yelled, her voice barely audible over the cacophony. Find a way to disable it." The team scattered, each member searching for a control panel or weak spot. The robotic sentinel had vanished, but the traps remained, deadly reminders of the alien intelligence that had built this place. The chamber grew smaller, the walls closing in fast. They had minutes, if that. And as they worked, the very ground beneath them began to shake. The asteroid was coming alive, and it was hungry for them. Nora spotted a pattern in the floor, a sequence of symbols that matched the ones on the plates that had formed the doorway. Here, she shouted. This could be the control center." The miners converged, their gloved hands flying over the alien controls. The walls stopped moving, and the rumbling grew quieter. They had bought themselves some time, but at what cost? The technology was unlike anything they'd ever encountered, and they had no idea what they were doing. We need to get out of here," said one of the miners, her voice shaking. Now." Nora nodded, her eyes never leaving the pulsating machine. We will," she said firmly. But not until we know what this is and how to use it." The air grew colder, the pressure building around them. They were so close to understanding the secrets of the galaxy, but the price might be their lives. And as they worked feverishly to unravel the alien code, they couldn't help but wonder if they were about to unleash something far more dangerous than they could ever have imagined. The symbols on the control panel began to glow brighter, the air crackling with energy. Suddenly, the machine hummed to life, the floor beneath them vibrating in response. The lights dimmed, and the walls of the chamber slid open, revealing an expansive view of the asteroid's core, a swirling mass of molten rock and superheated gas. Nora's heart skipped a beat as she realized what was happening. The alien technology wasn't just a relic, it was the asteroid's life force. And now, it had them in its grasp. The team had triggered a countdown. A timer appeared on their screens, ticking down from 50. They had less than a minute to shut it down or be consumed by the asteroid's fiery embrace. We need to find the power source, she bellowed over the din. The miners split up again, searching frantically for anything that could help them. The robotic sentinel reappeared, its eyes now a pulsing blue. It didn't attack, but its presence was a stark reminder of the stakes. In the corner of the chamber, one of the miners, a young engineer named Leo, found a glowing crystal embedded in the floor. Cap, I think this is it, he called out. They all rushed over, and Nora nodded. Do it, she said, her voice tight with tension. Leo took a deep breath and plunged his laser cutter into the crystal. The chamber shuddered, and the lights flickered. The machine's pulsating rhythm grew erratic. The walls stopped moving, and the countdown froze at 5 seconds. The air was thick with anticipation. And then, silence. The glow of the crystal faded, and the chamber went dark. The only sound was the hiss of their own breathing. They had done it. They had deactivated the defense mechanism. But the asteroid was still alive, and the core was growing restless. They had to find a way out before it was too late. The team regrouped, their heads spinning with the realization of what they had just survived. They had come for minerals, but instead had stumbled upon a living relic of a lost civilization. The knowledge and power contained within this asteroid was incalculable, and now it was theirs for the taking. We've got to get this to Earth, said Nora, her voice filled with determination. And we can't let this die with us. They worked together, using the last of their strength to dismantle the technology and store it safely in their ship. The asteroid trembled around them, as if it knew what they were doing. As they approached the exit, the sentinel blocked their path once more. Its eyes were now a soft green, and it spoke again, its voice filled with a hint of what might have been regret. You may leave, it said, but know that you have awakened forces that cannot be controlled. They didn't wait for further explanation. They sprinted to their ship, the asteroid's core lighting up the chamber with its fiery glow. They barely made it out in time, the asteroid's surface cracking and splintering as the core threatened to breach. As they rocketed away, Captain Nora couldn't help but look back at the asteroid, now a small dot in the vastness of space. They had survived, but at what cost? The alien technology was theirs, but the price was a warning they couldn't ignore. Their mission had turned from one of discovery to one of survival. They had uncovered secrets that could change humanity forever, but they had also unleashed forces that could bring about its destruction. And as they disappeared into the black, they knew that their journey had only just begun. The galaxy was vast, filled with wonders and dangers beyond their wildest dreams. They had survived the asteroid, but the real test was what they would do with the power they had found.